People have been preparing to go pro in this game since before Riot ever even said the word Valorant for the first time. When Riot released their first trailer for then untitled Project A last October, everyone and their mother started grinding CSGO to get ready, and not for no reason. Riot have a track record, including a big commitment to esports, and the biggest game of all time. So grinding Valorant in its early days to go pro while everyone else sucks sounds like kind of a lucrative plan, right? Wrong. Going pro in a new video game that has a high chance of becoming a massive success isn't some kind of master plan for fame and fortune that no one else will think of. And it's not a golden ticket to an easy life without a 9 to 5. Today I want to tell you the truth about going pro in Valorant. And that is the fact that Valorant will be one of the hardest games to ever go pro in. And if you aren't good enough to be the best in other games, you won't magically become good enough to be the best in Valorant. Yeah, okay, I know that there's a minute chance that the simple or faker of Valorant is just sitting there watching this video right now. Even if you're out there watching, Mr. Prodigy, I'm still right. Because you are a rounding error. You are the smallest conceivable decimal point of all the players who will ever try to go pro. The 0.001%. But for the rest of the player base, going pro is a mission that will result in failure, and I'm going to talk about why. I already touched a bit on the splendid fantasy that people have built of this new game where everyone gets to start from square one and you can go pro if you just work hard enough and play enough games. But the fact of the matter is that the playing field is not level. Not only are you not the only person to think about going pro in a new game, but there are people who are way better than you at similar games and have a huge lead on you when it comes down to the skills necessary to go pro. Promising CS players like Brax and Food have already made the switch to Valorant and have been at it non-stop since the game's release. Sinatra, the literal Overwatch League MVP, has already made the switch. So how could you think that just because the game is new, there's some sort of opportunity to get in on the ground floor? Do you really think you're coming in with better skills than these guys because their skills don't transfer from other games? You're coming in with better aim than the MVP of Overwatch League, better game sense than former CS pros? More importantly, do you think that you can learn and improve at a rate fast enough to catch and overtake these top players, all while they are training themselves to improve? For most people, the answer is absolutely not. These guys have already proven themselves in games that require similar skill sets, even if the gameplay is different. The idea that you, of all people, will somehow surpass them means that not only are you in for an insane amount of work, but you also have to work much smarter than these people given their head start. But let's say you got the magic sauce, you got the formula, and you work harder and smarter than these amazing pros from other games who have come to dominate Valorant in its infant stages. Well, there's another issue. Are you ready to commit? Are you in it for the long haul? Because even the most passionate, dedicated esports pros burn out and have motivation issues. Now, this is something that you as an aspiring pro should absolutely never face in a game as new as Valorant. When you start out, you should be prepared to face every day because there is so much to learn and so much space to get better. Burnout comes later, when you're grinding endlessly for the most minimal advantages imaginable. So are you prepared to dedicate months and years of your life to grinding out the same game over and over again hunched in front of your monitor without much job security or a guarantee of success until you reach the very top? Are you willing to sacrifice so much to play a video game? And when the game gets completely changed in a massive patch 2 weeks after you finally start to feel comfortable with the current one, are you ready to go and relearn it all again? Let's say you are. You are in it for the long haul and you are a master of improving at the game. My last question for you is, are you ready to make this game your job? Because I know that for many of you who spend your day grinding whatever game's the most popular at the time, it's often before you really know what you want from life. It's more from a fear of a normal life, committing to some mundane path that doesn't sound very interesting or fun, when there's a clear chance to make a career out of something you love doing if you just play enough. But that's the catch. Just playing enough isn't enough. You have to play smarter than everyone else. You have to play more than everyone else. And the game has to go from a game to a job for you. You need to be fully, completely passionate about the game, because all that passion is going to be put to the test every single day the further you get. Because you will quickly go from enjoying your time in the game to having crippling imposter syndrome, questioning whether you're wasting your life every time you make a misplay. I've noticed this weird cultural trend, I guess, that I think has grown with Twitch and especially in newer esports, where people have this misconception that streaming your gameplay to one viewer, playing like you normally do just for fun, is somehow grinding. That's not what grinding is, and that's not what it takes to get to the top. Grinding is pushing yourself to and past your limits. It's not just your normal gameplay that you enjoy, except stream to your friend and your phone on Twitch. Grinding isn't fun. It's sweat. And sure, you can enjoy it, but that's because you love to challenge yourself, not because you just want to sit there and play games like you normally do, or put off your real-world problems. If you are willing to no longer have games as an escape, but as an obligation, then you need to make sure right now you aren't just looking for a way to get out of an effortful, difficult life filled with struggle and failure that you see in a boring, normal 9 to 5. Because just a heads up, that life is what's ahead of you if you want to go pro. So, does this mean that if you try to go pro and you don't succeed, you are a failure who has made terrible decisions? Only if success and money and fame are all that matter to you, and the only thing you cared about at the end of the day is where you ended up, not the journey that brought you there. Because if you develop yourself through your journey and truly give it your all, you should not have one single regret about what you pursue. I 100% did not make this video to discourage a single person from trying to go pro in Valorant or in any esport. But before you try to turn something you love into a job, especially a job that is so competitive, so few can have and even fewer can keep, I want you to think about what you're giving up. And if you can weigh all these factors and tell yourself, this is the thing I absolutely want to do with my life, I wish you the best of luck and hope you find everything you are looking for in Valorant esports. You have a long journey ahead of you and it will take a lot out of you, but I promise you, if you try your best, the journey will be worth it, no matter where you end up. I made this video to show you what exactly you are committing to if you decide to try and go pro. In the future, I will talk about the mindset and skill set needed to pursue a professional career in Valorant. But for now, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope it wasn't too negative. I was just trying to give a realistic look at what this game truly will take out of you if you decide that it is what you want to give your life to. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, and you can subscribe if you're looking for more Valorant discussion like this. If you have any thoughts, positive or negative, you can just leave a comment and I will hit you back as soon as I see it. Peace.